Welcome to our channel, where you can unwind and relax with our collection of soothing bedtime stories. Our carefully curated selection of stories will transport you to a peaceful state of mind and help you drift off to a restful slumber. From heartwarming tales of friendship and love to adventurous journeys through far-off lands, our stories are designed to help you escape the stresses of everyday life. So dim the lights, settle into your favorite spot, and let our storytellers guide you into a world of calm and tranquility. Sweet dreams. Benny's adventures in the forest, overcoming fears and finding friendship. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there lived a little bear named Benny. Benny was a curious and adventurous bear, always exploring the forest and making new friends. One day, while out on a walk, Benny came across a beautiful butterfly who was lost and unable to find her way back to her home. The butterfly was so upset and scared that she couldn't fly properly, so Benny offered to help her find her way home. Together, they set out on an adventure through the forest, crossing streams and climbing hills until they finally reached the butterfly's home. The butterfly was overjoyed to be back in her beautiful garden, surrounded by colorful flowers and other insects. As a thank you for his help, the butterfly offered to take Benny on a magical journey through the forest. She fluttered her wings, and suddenly, Benny felt himself lifted into the air, soaring through the forest like a bird. They flew over tall trees, past sparkling streams, and over fields of flowers. Benny felt so free and light, like he was flying on the wings of an angel. The butterfly took him on a journey that he would never forget, and when it was time to say goodbye, Benny felt a deep sense of gratitude and love towards his new friend. As he made his way back home, Benny felt so relaxed and peaceful that he felt himself drifting off to sleep. He curled up in his cozy bear den, feeling happy and content, knowing that he had made a new friend and had experienced a magical adventure. And so, Benny drifted off into a peaceful sleep, dreaming of the beautiful forest and the friends he had made along the way. In his dream, Benny explored the forest once again, but this time, he was not alone. He was surrounded by all his new friends, the animals he had met on his adventures. They ran and played together, splashing in the streams and chasing each other through the trees. As they played, they came across a clearing in the forest where there was a large tree with a swing hanging from one of its branches. Benny ran over to the swing and hopped on, feeling the wind in his fur as he soared through the air. All his animal friends took turns on the swing, each one laughing and smiling with joy. As Benny swung higher and higher, he felt a sense of pure happiness and peace wash over him. When he woke up, Benny felt refreshed and energized, as though he had just experienced a wonderful adventure. He stretched out his arms and legs and let out a big yawn, feeling grateful for the magical dream he had just had. As he got up to start his day, he knew that he would always cherish the memory of his adventures in the forest and the friends he had made along the way. And he knew that whenever he needed to feel relaxed and peaceful, all he had to do was close his eyes and remember the magical journey he had taken with his butterfly friend. As Benny went about his day, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. He couldn't quite put his paw on it, but he felt as though he was being watched. At first, Benny tried to ignore the feeling, chalking it up to his imagination. But as the day wore on, the feeling grew stronger, and Benny became more and more anxious. As he was walking through the forest, he suddenly heard a twig snap behind him. He spun around to see who was there, but there was no one in sight. His heart began to race as he realized that he was being followed. Benny broke into a run, but he could hear his pursuer getting closer and closer. Just when he thought he couldn't run any further, he stumbled upon a hidden cave, tucked away in a corner of the forest. Without a second thought, Benny darted inside and hid behind a rock, holding his breath as he listened for any sign of his pursuer. The silence was deafening, and Benny began to relax, thinking that he had managed to outsmart whoever was after him. But just as he was beginning to catch his breath, he felt a tap on his shoulder. He spun around to find himself face to face with a friendly-looking wolf. "Relax, my friend," said the wolf, "I mean you no harm." I was only following you to make sure you were safe. There are dangers in this forest that you must be careful of. Benny felt a wave of relief wash over him as he realized that he had been mistaken. He had let his fears get the best of him and had almost missed out on the opportunity to make a new friend. As they chatted, Benny and the wolf became fast friends, sharing stories of their adventures and exploring the cave together. And as Benny drifted off to sleep that night, he knew that he had learned an important lesson: to never let his fears and anxieties get in the way of the magical moments that life has to offer. In the days that followed, Benny and the wolf continued to explore the forest together, discovering new places and making new friends. They would often sit by the stream, watching the water flow and listening to the birds sing, feeling grateful for the beauty of the world around them. Benny had learned that sometimes the things we fear can be the things that lead us to the most wonderful experiences in life. He had also learned that it's important to have friends who can help us navigate through the challenges and obstacles that we face. As the days turned into weeks, Benny and the wolf grew closer and closer, and Benny knew that he had found a true friend for life. And so, Benny's adventures in the forest continued, filled with new challenges, new friendships, and new lessons to be learned. But no matter what lay ahead, Benny knew that he was never alone, and that he could always rely on the support and love of his friends to guide him through. The lessons that can be learned from Benny's story are many, but perhaps the most important one is to embrace the unknown and to never let our fears hold us back from the beauty and wonder that life has to offer. And to always be open to making new friends, for they can be the ones who help us find our way through the darkness and into the light.